Hello and welcome, as it is the completion of the fourth day of September 2020. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel. And like always, all bets, trades, and the like within each's own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk-reward management is always job number one. And we'll go over Bitcoin on multiple time frames. As I'm doing this video, I am watching the Vancouver Canucks play Game 7 versus the Vegas Golden Knights 2 minutes into the first period. So if things happen to happen, I'll try to pause the tape or not react much towards it. But with that being said, just so you know on the fact, as I've been doing a lot of fantasy hockey and doing very, very well within it so far. Okay. So as far as the Bitcoin market's concerned, I'm going to take a look at this within, again, all the time frames because there's a lot of information, even go down the 1 minute time frame. So it's a good time to do it. And I'll start off within these Fibonacci lines. And they've been really important for me in analyzing the market, as these fib lines take us from the highs of about 20,000 and then the lows a little north of 3. So 23.6, 38, 61, and 76.4. And it has done very well in from point A high to, or key high to key low, to first have a better than a solid retracement, because a solid retracement would be going to 61.8. So it did one level higher at 76.4. And then really wild, and you can say violently, or whatever term you want to use, it corrects that move, but it does such within a higher low in here. Last time it was barely north of 3. This time was pretty much 4,000, and it didn't spend much time there, whereas it was resisting 4,000 for quite some time. And then just a very quick recovery, meeting up this high, and then coming up and spending some time in this area. It is now, of course, pulled back. So we can talk about retracements from this kilo to whatever the high happens to be. And right now, whatever the high happens to be comes in at $12,486.61 if we're using the Coinbase exchange. Because highs and lows are known after the fact. And after we've seen this move here, where it was just trying to break out above the highs on September the 1st, it obviously failed. Unable to support this key level of 11,001, all ones basically. And then, of course, down she went with a big down day of about 11% on Thursday. So let's take a look at this. We'll go long term to short term. So we're already taking a look at the daily. Let's take a look at this on the monthly term. And it basically shows, I'm not going to say the entire history, but a lot of the history, even going back, $4, $5 for one Bitcoin. Well, now we're at 10K. And along the way, having a move to a high of about 1,100-ish. Holding and staying within the 18 average. It went well below it. It resisted it in here. One leg lower, and then it stayed in this area for a bit. But within the whole process, extreme higher low from this one of about 2 and change. And then, next higher low is like $1.50 or so. But realistically, the main kilos are around 250, because that's where it was easy to buy and sell for quite some time. And then when that quite some time was over, really the overness was like near the end of 2015, it just kept going higher and higher. And amongst the monthly chart, spending pretty much the entire duration of its time above the 18 average of highs. In fact, it did spend its entire duration above it after leaving it in August of 2016, it looks like. Yes, to August of 2016. And then after it leaving that and getting back to the highs in here, so far what it's doing is holding and staying within it. It's had that little bit of time below here, this little pierce. It hasn't had any major breakouts yet of starting resuming any uptrends. For this move in here was an attempt to do so, and it didn't do it, but with correctionary move is okay. And now it's trying to attempt it here because it's barely staying within this, but this is still a progressively nice statement. If there's any further retracements, we can see we have the 18 average of lows on the longer term time frame chart. Well, it's barely rising at that of like 8,000. So having 8,000 low come in, well, it's going to be finding support. We got the last low in here, and then of course it pierced below the 18 in here. And until, and the whole thing, of course, to me is a very big sideways consolidation, whether you want to call it a complete range, ascending triangle, as in the resistance, just in this general area in here. And then you got the ascending triangle kind of stuff, or do you want to call this some sort of range? As it is, as long as it's in this little bit of an area, it's not in the breakdown or breakout stage. It's in the waiting for it to do such. But as it goes now, it's in the upper end of this range. It's holding on this rally that it started from these lows of a little over 4,000 or from March, doing very, very well. Even though we've had this little bit of retracement on the weekly, we can see how it's came down to the 18 lows. And if you want to talk about different things like, oh, head and shoulders patterns and stuff like that, okay, yada, yada, whatever. I can draw stuff like that. It's pretty obvious that it could form a situation. Left shoulder, head, and if we have any type of retracements coming back, oh, that'd be like the 7,000 area or the slot machine number. And then if it rallies up, oh, that'd be a head and shoulders pattern. And then all, like so many market analysts' price actions in this area here would be talking about, and it's a bullish statement, but that's just something that could happen. But if that doesn't happen and it keeps breaking out, well, that's like even more bullish than what that would be, because within an inverted head and shoulders, that means the next wave, which would be this one, was a significant one. If it doesn't, that means it would stay within the 18, and then you start to see it breaking out. Well, it should be off to the races more times than not within those situations. Amongst the more shorter term now, let's take a look at this on the 4-hour chart. And failed moves can come fast moves, and most certainly was the case on this failed breakout. This was doing very well within the 18 average of highs for quite some time. And then when it came to its support test, just a massive destruction. And this is that key level that was shown on the daily that it didn't support, but short term it did. Because we can see on the September 2nd 4-hour stamp that it came down this low, and then it consolidated it within many periods. And then 1, 2, big waves down, and a third one, but before the third one we had this little hold within it and pause one. And when you see a pause one from a big move, whether it's up or down, that could go either way. I mean, you could have this and then have an up move and then do whatever from this. Of course, that didn't happen. What did happen was this down move, and since then it's had this little bit of an uptrend, but very violently and wildly. Because when I was looking at this earlier today, I was like, what the heck is going on with this period? And this was an interesting move that was showing a failed breakdown, and then right now in the 1 minute time frame, we're seeing how the failed breakout of that from it is, or the breakout from the failed breakdown is showing to be a failed breakout. If you know what I mean. Well, I'll try to explain. So as it goes, okay, I see something like that. Oh, let's see on the hour. What does it show there? And the hourly time frame is going to show that it was, what's going on down in here? That was an interesting hour at 10 o'clock. Well, what's the story? And you need to shorten it more. As it goes within this whole run, it's been in a major downtrend. Sellers are in control of this market on the short-term time frame. They're doing so within a more large secular bull market, of course, but in the short term right now, sellers are in control of the market. A little bit of stabilization here, even a little attempt here to break out. And this is what I'm talking about as far as the failed breakdown and failed breakout in here. But again, as it goes, it's a sideways consolidation. So 15-minute chart. There's this little 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock stuff in here, the shenanigans that was going on. And within it, what happened before? This was a big move. I mean, just in 15 minutes here, this thing lost 4 1/3%. So there's our resistance. We tested, we established it in here. We even established some resistance here. I mean, you can say it kind of supported here, but I mean, this was just a wild move. But how it recovered in here, had its up move, it came back down quickly, but higher loaded, if you will. Higher loaded, that's just terminology I like to state as an action term, I suppose. And then making a little bit of a higher high, but more important, but supporting this resistance. So that's like, okay, bullish statement. And this is me telling me here the fast breakout was coming in. I was looking at this, and I was going to think, maybe I'll make a video about this thing breaking in. And it started to, I was pretty convinced it was going to here, and then, oops. Now we can see here, the market comes down in here, I thought it was going to break up because this level of resistance was in key. But always adjust to the message. Always adjusted to the message of the market. As this move here, and I think it is on this time frame looking like a failed breakout now. Well, within it, we've established the support, come back to where we came from. Okay, that can be a bullish sign. But within it, we resist the highs, and now I'm seeing weakness falling down below this level of key support. Eek. This tells me short term we should be probably making a move at least in testing this, most likely testing this major level of support around here. So I don't know, I'm just going to guess around 10,200, just whatever. And that's of course within this time frame. What happens from here? We'll wait and see, because I'll just wait for the next message of the market, whatever it could show you. But 5-minute time frame, you can see again trying to break out above here, not showing support here where it's supposed to, and even just the last few periods in here, it's telling me, okay, we come down in here, there's your move up, and then starting to go down. And at this point, it's probably better if I just switch this up and put in a tether. And then the candles look a little bit better because there's more volume traded in this. And speaking of which, probably should have the volume. Although, sometimes it could be a distraction, but either way, it can give you indications at key times. But a lot of times it's a nothing or whatever. It just doesn't mean anything. 1 minute term time frame, and this is just as far as the move earlier today. Oh, this is 8 o'clock. Okay. Well, I got stuff I can state on this. You had all this support on here. And now you're attempting to rebound it. So obviously we know key levels of resistance. You can calculate Fibonacci, and I can just tell that's a 61.8 hit. But we had this key resistance area level. So that's where you came from. And I always state, I'll be looking as this is resistance. Well, there it is. It's resistance here. And now we got key low to key high. Because is this a resistance move that's going to then make a lower low, which obviously already has, of course. But it can be bullish to resist this, and as long as you hold anywhere this area, that's the keyword, as long. What if you don't? Well, that's what's happening. It's the don't situation. And there you find a little bit of support here, no rallies at all. And then this is like the best rally it had was right here, which is within this range. And it's just showing that there's no buyers coming in to take advantage of these prices, of course, where they're at and all this. So now we can see the control the sellers have right now is relatively decent. But it also states in here that, this move in here, well, that's not a surprise because of the fact of how poor or how it did not hold where it came from. And now even live as this goes, well, I know key area, this is key resistance, this is key support. We have fit 61 here, we have where we came from here. We have both, we established this resistance, we're having retests now, so key level next would be somewhere around here. Even if it gets up here, will it sustain it? I don't know. It's short term, of course, as we note, or as I've noted anyway, sellers are in control within, of course, all the secular long-term bull markets on so many of these time frames. But here, it's trying to rebound from what has been a down move in here. And if I was just to day trade something like this or look for a setup, I'd like to see maybe it stabilize in here for about 4, 5, 6 more minutes. Maybe come back if it could higher low. Let's just stay within this area. What would be ideal is maybe come down a bit in here and then start to go higher. And then as you see it, maybe go to like say 10, 4, 6, 5 or something. Maybe I put a buy in and then sell it up here. Just like whatever. That's just some sort of strategy play. I don't do that kind of stuff. Because again, the type of quick in and out type of play, and it's really a reference almost like poker to a degree. Where I play fantasy hockey and every game I put, now I'm working to try to get 4 figures per game, and I might be starting that tomorrow, at least if this Vegas game works good to me. And I could easily do that if I want to. But say, for example, today I got $700 on the Vegas versus Vancouver game. It's like putting a cash game. They're going to pay me back on my results based on the lineups I put in. Sometimes I could win maybe 1,000 back, 2,000, 3,000. I can even win over 10,000 because that's the best prize I can win in one game. And I could win back 400 and thus lose 200. I could win back nothing even at times. But that's like poker games. Sometimes I could put 700 in a poker game, and then it's going to be like I leave a 1,200, maybe 500, maybe I'll lose it all and all in. Of Of course, in that, you'd buy in, and then you could lose more. In this case, the most I can lose is what I decide to bet, which is just a fantastic feature that I think that the game encounters. And it's been doing, again, very, very well for me within the strategies, of course, that I've been implementing. And even back in like January, February, I'm like, okay, this is how the metagame of playoff hockey works. Oh my goodness, my strategy is going to be more fantastic with it. And of course it has been. Even just miscellaneous things that a site like DraftKings has done amplified the winnings just because of different reward bonus features kind of deal, which worked to be my favorite, which is like, oh, sweet. And I've been seeing, again, outstanding results within the month of August, now of course turning here into September. And I don't know, Wake Me Up When September Ends, one of my favorite songs of what I call the modern era, because anything post like 2002, 2003 is modern. And I think that song was like 4 or 5, I think, whatever. But yeah, it's going to be Stanley Cup will end probably near the end of the month, September 30th ish. Depending on how many games it goes, best of 7 could go 4, 5, 6, or 7 games. And it's about just working within each game, like sort of like each poker game, and then you win, you lose, you manage it each game through, so that the key thing of my strategy, any type of game, whether you're playing in poker, risking your bankroll, whether you're trading the market and you're having your bankroll within your market trading, and your day trading, depends on how much you put per trade or whatever kind of deal. Sports betting and how much you put per game, is when I'm winning, I'm going to be increasing my bets. And when I'm losing, I'm going to be decreasing. A lot of the easiest ways of doing it is just keep on betting 5%, 10%, 2%, 20%, whatever it works out towards. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, by the way, as far as I see, this is as I mentioned, this is one of those things I mentioned. This is where you'd be like going long. Like I'd already be long at like 10,470 kind of deal. Because this is exactly what I was just mentioning a few minutes ago. There you see this retest here. There's the comeback. That's something I want to see. The 18 is newly rising. There you see it now breaking that level. So that's exitation of the 18 in here. That's breakout of the resistance. If you're looking for any type of comebacks, maybe put buy orders in somewhere around this area here because you're now confident this is good. Just so many different ways of doing it. And then of course, what's your risk versus your reward? This is another way of using it. When I said this might be your reward status. Another way of saying reward status is how much do I want to bet, and how much is this profit going to be? How much is going to increase my bankroll? Different things like that. Risk status, same thing like there as far as protecting your bankroll, where your stop losses are, and that sort of thing. As I mentioned again, for risk reward management. I've been in the business way too long of managing bankrolls, placing bets one way or another, sitting down at a poker tournament. I've been in poker tournaments in probably 20 to 30 different buildings, if not more. And it's just something you do. And then you play cards and you put up stakes. You realize, okay, my bankroll is this game is going to cost me this much. And it gets even so in depth when you find, okay, the hotel will cost me this, when you're talking about going to different casinos out of town and stuff like that. Things like that. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.